Concentrating our coverage this week on the movement for democracy and freedom in Eastern Europe. Worth noting that spread through Europe now are student leaders on the run out of China and the recent showdown in Tiananmen Square. One of the would-be leaders is 21-year-old Wu'erkaixi, who is at the forefront of student marches in China in April. And later, he was one of the leaders of the hunger strike in Tiananmen Square that turned into the mass movement for Chinese democracy. When Chinese communist authorities called the students in to lecture them on what was called their misbehavior, Wu'erkaixi, in his hospital pajamas, breathing oxygen through a tube, suffering from the hunger strike, talked back. He told Premier Li Peng about the need for Chinese reform. The discussion ended when Wu'erkaixi collapsed in a faint and was rushed back to the hospital. Wu'erkaixi later called for an end to the occupation of Tiananmen Square, but was voted down and lost his position of leadership among the students. But he regained it after the army stormed the square. He wound up at the top of the government's most wanted list. He escaped China and then put out a defiant statement predicting the downfall of the old-line, hard-line communist Chinese government. We talked to Wu'erkaixi earlier today at a safe house here in Europe. I know that you want to be a bit secretive about it, but what could you tell us about how you got out of China and how the others got out of China? How is this working?
You are right. I have to keep it a secret to protect my friends, those who haven't got out yet.
Lech Wałęsa asked us specifically to pass along his regards and his personal support for you and the movement. Conservatively estimated, how many people do you think died in the wake of the Army's crackdown in China?
On the day of the massacre, I was at the square. At least over 2,000 people were killed on Tiananmen Square.
More than 2,000. Are you fearful of reprisals against your family?
Personally, I worry a lot for my family, but I hope the communist regime won't be so low as to persecute my family members.
Could you suggest anything specifically that you would like President Bush and the United States to do?
I don't want to say much, but there's one point I'd like to say. That is, necessary economic sanctions should not stop. And also, as to what some people said, economic sanction would hurt the Chinese people. I don't agree with that.
The moment that you and the other leaders had in Tiananmen Square was a breakthrough moment for democracy and freedom before the crackdown. How long before there'll be another breakthrough moment?
Optimistically, 2 to 3 years. Conservatively, 7 to 8 years.
The Chinese government and the Communist Party says that you specifically and other student leaders involved in Tiananmen Square were unpatriotic, that you were traitors to the country, that what you sought was anarchy and chaos in the country, and that you set China back perhaps as much as 50 years. I want to give you a chance to answer those very serious charges.
The fact is that they themselves want to push back the advancement of democratic movement, and they want to put the blame on the students.
Under what circumstances would you return to China?
When they give me freedom to speak, even if they try me publicly. But it should be under the democratic system, not under the pressure of an illegitimate government.
Thank you, Wu'erkaixi. On the run, but out of China and safe for at least the moment somewhere in Europe. I'll have more news from Hungary in a moment.